if Bayern won in their game, and when they did. Archie Rintut knew that the story would be at the Signal Iduna Park today, whatever happened. And the worst thing did happen for Borussia Dortmund. Archie, tell us what it was like to be there.
It is the stuff of nightmares for Borussia Dortmund fans. They join other teams in the past who thought they were on the cusp of glory. Their near rivals Schalke, for example, most famously in 2001, believed for 4 minutes that the championship was theirs. It's probably just a little bit longer of that moment when Cologne scored and were holding Bayern that the Dortmund fans believed. But then there was a hush that descended upon the Südtribüne, the South Stand, the famous yellow wall here, as it became clear that Bayern had scored again and Dortmund was still 2-1 down. And then came the full-time whistle, and then came the tears. Literally in this spot right here next to me, I saw Karim Adeyemi collapse to the floor and just look empty. Empty of all emotions, empty of all feeling. And then we just saw the Borussia Dortmund players go perch themselves on the edge of the 16-yard box in front of the yellow wall, and both just stayed silent for a moment. They didn't know what to do, because this wasn't the plan. It was meant to be in their hands. There was a big banner in front of the yellow wall at the start of the game saying, we have this in our hands. And the thing for Borussia Dortmund is they've let it slip. And sure, you may say, did they let it slip in the second half of the season? The fact is that ultimately the first half of the season has come back to bite them. But Edin Terzic, you might have just seen behind me, if there's anybody who's looked more emotional, I mean, I'm just seeing tears after tears after tears from anyone associated with Dortmund right now. But yeah, him most of all. He grew up a Dortmund fan. He worked for the club and worked his way up. He was at the DFB Cup final in 2012, the last time that Dortmund also won the Bundesliga. And it looked like 11 years was going to end, 11 years of Bundesliga pain to be over, but instead it's a different 11. It's an 11th straight title for Bayern Munich. I'm hoping to speak with a Borussia Dortmund player, a Borussia Dortmund coach in Edin Terzic, but for now I think Bo Svensson, the Mainz coach, is closing in. Be interesting to hear the other side of what it's been like and come here and being the ultimate party pooper, Kay, because yeah, Mainz were written off before this. I didn't think they had much of a chance. Such was the flow that Borussia Dortmund and the momentum that they were in. Let's not forget they scored 4, 5, 6 goals in their last 3 Bundesliga home games before this one, and I thought they were going to get it over the line. Instead, it is a desolate Dortmund that I see here right now. There's still thousands of fans on the yellow wall just trying to contemplate what is a very somber mood here. They were ready to party, but no party this year for Borussia Dortmund. Bayern Munich, Bundesliga champions, and Dortmund finishing second again.
Second again, and that's the big story of it, isn't it? The fact that it was in their hands. These are the moments that go down in history, in the worst kind of history, when you say, remember that year when it came to the final day and Borussia Dortmund had it in their hands and they blew it. How do they get over this? How does the coach and that young side get over this, Ali?
You don't. I'm speaking for Casey here, and I'm sure you'll agree. The few times that I think we sit back and look at our careers, we rarely think of the great moments and the times that you won and the championships. The things that come up in conversation about one's career, usually, and the things that you remember the most are the ones that hurt, are the ones that really, really cut you deep. Those are the ones that really left a mark. See, the championships are things that you enjoy and you love and you share with your teammates. But what did you leave on the table? What did you leave behind that was there for you and you were unable to go and get it? And we all in our careers have had those moments. This is one of those moments for Borussia Dortmund and these players and this manager and this club. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because of the many chances that they had this season. See, we can focus on today, and rightfully so, because you win, you're the champion. After all the winding road that we had taken and the scenic road that we had taken in this title race, you win today, you're the champion. But go back to Stuttgart, where you were up 2-0, playing with a man up, and you allow that game to get away from you. Not only that 2-0 lead, but then you went up late, and you let it go again, playing against 10 men. Go to Bochum, all right? When you drop points there, and all these moments and chances over the course of the last month and a half that you let go. I would be saying the same thing if I were talking about Bayern Munich having lost the title. I would give exactly the same speech, because they themselves gave up opportunities. They themselves had chances. But in this moment in time, as Borussia Dortmund looks back to their season, some people are going to frame this as a step forward for them. It is hard as a player to take this as a positive season, because you were right there in the moment that counted, in the moment that mattered. You were unable to deliver, and that will stay with you. Trust me when I tell you this, that stays with you as a player.
Ole said something earlier about missing the leadership of Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham, a 20-year-old, in a team with Süle, Hummels, Royce, Brandt. I mean, you have so much German winners, national team, club. How do those guys not take this young team? Because this problem wasn't, yes, there was opportunities to be the Dortmund that outscores your opponent. But the shoddy defending to go 2-0 down against a side that had conceded 13 goals in the last 4 games, who'd already started their summer vacation. And the big leaders of that team, the experienced, the guys that have been there and done that, aren't able to help. Emre Can as well, another player that has vast experience in that side. And they make the mistakes that they're not able to see it out at home. Was it the pressure? Was it the complacency? We've already won this thing? I don't know, but there's too much experience in that side to look to a 20-year-old that was injured. Yes, he would have helped 100%, but wow, how do those big names don't rise to this occasion?
I just think there's a personality void to this team in this moment, because again, we'll point out today, but let's just go back to the moments in which this team, they were leading the league, and how they came back to Bayern Munich. In the moments in which they were the ones that now were being chased, and how uncomfortable they were in that position.